So this is a Mini Snoot, which is great for smaller setups like I have right now in this office. Let me show you. This is the Mini Snoot, and if you constantly film in small studios and you still want a Gobo projection or a Mini Snoot and you don't have space for the big snoot and stuff like that, this is a great option. This is great to elevate your lighting as it makes your scene more dynamic and it makes it a little bit more interesting and different. At about $50 to $60 depending on where you buy it, this is also quite budget friendly. And I did purchase this unit out of my own pocket, so this is not sponsored by anybody. So this is a Mini Snoot by a company called DigitalFoto, although I've seen it with slightly different names online, but it could be all under the same umbrella, I'm not sure. So I'll talk about what this is, its pros and cons, how it works, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to determine for yourself whether one of these will be suitable for you and your own needs. But first, what is a snoot? So a snoot is a light modifier shaped like a conical or cylindrical tube, and it allows you to focus your light to a specific direction as opposed to having the light spread out in a wide beam. So this is without and this is with. This one has a gobo in it, but if you take that off, you get a little spotlight. So this helps you focus your light into a specific direction without it spilling into other areas. Let's bring this down. On a snoot, you're able to attach a gobo, and I bet you did not know this, but gobo stands for goes before optics. I didn't know this for the longest time, so let me know in the comments below if you knew this already. So a gobo is one of these stencils or patterns that when placed in front of a light source, they project a certain image or pattern or shape on the wall or whatever you're pointing that light at. This snoot has a magnetic holder which allows you to attach two gobos at the same time. So that's one and that's two. And you're able to quickly switch between one and the other. This comes with a little booklet or a little folder sleeve with about 19 different patterns, 19 different gobos. And this is great because then you are able to play with a bunch of different patterns and shapes. So this snoot is made of metal, and actually let me add a light over here first. So just added a little bit of a light there. So yeah, so this snoot is very nicely built. It's made of aluminum metal and it can stand heat temperatures or lighting up to 280 watts. But because it is made of metal over extended use, this does get quite hot. So make sure you're mindful of that anytime you're trying to rotate it or adjust that gobo. It is really light at about 1.3 pounds and it is fairly short, as you can see, compared to a phone, and it's purposely made to work with smaller light, which is perfect for small spaces like right now in my home office / YouTube studio. And I am able to use this with a Zhiyun light here, the Molis X100, which is this tiny light that packs a punch of power of 100 watts. I recently posted a YouTube home studio tour and of this small space. So if you haven't checked that out, there'll be a link in the description below or up here. I was considering getting a regular size snoot gobo projection, but after researching a bit, and I felt that that was going to take a ton of space in this small room, so it was not going to work for me. And I'm glad that I found this tiny thing. This has 3 mounts that work depending on the light that you have. So there's a Zhiyun mount. There's a little Z or set here for Zhiyun mount lights that you can attach right there. There's a little screw that locks things in place. There's also an adapter that says G, and this is for Godox lights like the ML100. And there's another one that has a U, and this is for Ulanzi lights. So I don't have Ulanzi or Godox lights, so I'm using this with the Zhiyun adapter. There's an issue that I found with the Zhiyun adapter specifically, is that there is no way to lock this in place on the light. So you can fit it in here and it fits all nicely, but there is no lock. If you twist it very slightly, this can easily fall off, which is not the best design in my opinion, but I do like the fact that this is super small, and I just have to be mindful of this being sort of loose and not very tight. So that's what I mean with it falling off easily. So if you don't touch it, this feels a little bit snug, but you can easily move it to one side, and as you can see, it can just easily fall off. So one thing to keep in mind when you're changing the Gobo is to always hold this tight in place so that you don't accidentally twist this off and it falls down by mistake. Also be mindful when you are adjusting this lens that you also hold on to this tightly so this does not fall off. So a little bit of a design flaw in my opinion, at least for the Zhiyun mount. I can't test the Godox or the Ulanzi mount, but let me know if you have tested that with any of those mounts. One thing that I found weird in the manual is that there is something about Bowen's mount. I'm not sure if you can see, but there is no Bowen's mount adapter or anything like that that comes with this box. So I am not sure why it says Bowen's mount in there, but just know that this is not compatible with the Bowen's mount, at least not the version that I have right here, and I couldn't find any other versions online that supported Bowen's mount. So a weird and odd thing. So let's talk about the projection quality. You're able to adjust the focus with the ring here, and I can get most of the projection in focus as you can see, but the edges are still a little bit blurry. This is what it looks like as I defocus the projection. The projection is not the sharpest, but it's enough, and I like it for my purposes because I would probably use it most of the time with the projection being a little bit blurry. There is some chromatic aberration as you can see, but it's nothing I can't live without. And in some of these projections, you get a little bit of a pincushion distortion where you get a curve coming inwards like this. Overall, the projection in the center can be somewhat sharp and in focus, but you get softness in the edges. The spotlight quality is quite nice and bright in the center and a good gradient towards the edges. Again, the edges aren't the cleanest, and you do get some chromatic aberration as well.
This is me right now from the future. I do notice that there is an outer ring in the projection. Here, as you can see in the camera, it is more obvious in person in real life, and the camera is not so much. So a little bit of a subtle thing, but yeah.
Overall, if you want the sharpest Gobo projection or sharpest spotlight, you're not going to get that with this, or nothing even close, especially at this price point. But for me, it works mainly because it is super small, and most of the time my projections are going to be somewhat defocused anyway. Something that's $50, $60 compared to one of the entry-level ones, the big ones that are about $300 or $400, this is actually pretty good for the price. So should you be getting this? I think if you want a small Snoot Gobo projector and you are in a small space, and also you do not want to spend a lot of money on one, then this is definitely a good purchase. Be mindful that this is not going to work with Bowen's mount lighting, only with smaller lights, for which you will need an adapter. At least with the Zhiyun adapter, I am not able to get a snug, tight fit, and it's easy for the Snoot to fall off the light, so that's something to keep in mind anytime you're handling or moving the light. One pro of this kit is that it comes with 19 Gobos, so you can play around with a ton of different projections and patterns. That's it for this video. I hope that you're now able to make the decision whether this is something that would suit you or not, but if you're still watching, here are a couple of videos you could watch next, and I'll see you there.